Hey there everybody, welcome back to another how to draw video with me at Whole Lot of Drawings. Today we're going to be drawing the character SOX from the new Lightyear movie. This movie actually just came out on Disney Plus, so if you haven't seen it, go ahead and check it out. It's definitely a favorite of mine. I think that this character specifically is a great support character and adds a lot of comedy to the movie. But for today, we're going to be learning how to draw SOX, the character, step by step. And if you do need to, go ahead and pause the video as we go along. If there are certain steps that you need more time on, there's no shame in doing that. And let's get started. Okay, so to start off, we'll need our basic circle. So to make it a little simpler, I'm going to go ahead and use a cup. So I'm just going to turn it upside down like that and then trace around it to form my circle. You can use, you don't have to use a cup if you feel confident in drawing a circle. I'm just going to go ahead and do that just to make it a little simpler. So we'll draw a circle around the cup like so. Okay, and then now you have your circle, and this is going to be his head. So we'll need to draw facial lines to show where exactly his eyes and his nose are going to go. So we'll do that next. Okay, so we're going to draw a vertical line from the top to the bottom in a curved motion because he's going to be looking toward the left. So we'll want to just draw a very faint curved line like this. And then we'll draw a horizontal one toward the bottom of the circle. So it's not going to be in the middle of the circle, it's toward the bottom. And I recommend you use the side of your pencil just to make it a little bit less harsh on your paper. Okay, and then we're going to draw another line on the top. And these lines are going to signify how big his eyes are going to be. So the top of his eyes are not going to go further than the top line, and the bottom is not going to go further than the bottom line. Okay, go ahead and draw his eyes within those two lines so we know where those are going to go. And normally what I do in order to create a circle, I start off with the motion and then I will touch the paper as I'm doing that motion. So that way it's a little easier, and I kind of like a practice throw before you do something. You're doing a practice draw before you actually start drawing, if that's a term, but that's the best way I can think of explaining it. So let's go ahead and draw a circle here. Okay, and then we'll do the same on the other side. And it's not going to touch the lines on the side here. It's going to be within those two. The only lines it should touch are the top and the bottom. Okay, same thing on this side. I'm just briefly going over them again, just to get an idea of where his eyes are going to go. And he does have thicker eyelashes, so that's why I'm kind of making the top a little darker. And it stops about halfway of the circle. It's kind of a half moon shape. Okay, same on the other side. Make it a little darker. Stop about halfway and continue toward the other side. And the line is going to get thinner on this side. Okay, now the bridge of his nose is going to start on his left eye right here, or his right, our left. And we'll just draw a line that goes down. and we'll stop at this bottom line you drew earlier. Okay, and then we'll draw a curved line. This is going to be his nose. Through this line right here. And this side will not touch his right eye. It's going to stop right about there. And then we'll draw a triangle shape here for his nose. We'll stop about midway, make a little curve. And now it's not going to have this type of shape back up since he's looking this direction. We're going to do a shape that goes this way, okay? All right, and there you have his nose. And now let's get his lips in here. So we're going to draw a curve from his nose down. And we'll curve within this circle here. Back up toward his nose. And then down. Same thing on this side. We'll curve that meets that previous line you just drew. And if there are ever any lines you don't like, you can erase them. There's no shame in doing that. That's the whole reason we're sketching. And that's the reason you also make the lines light. Because if you erase them, then you don't see them. Okay, then we're going to draw his chin. Make a U shape like that. Okay, now let's get his pupils in here, and those are going to be circles within his eyes right here. So again, do that motion. Okay, and then there's going to be a square, or a rectangle I should say, within his eye that shows that there's some light. Okay, and then we'll do his pupil right off of that rectangle right here. And that's going to be a circle. Just don't draw too far so you don't go within that rectangle, because you want that rectangle to stay white. Okay, and then we'll just lightly color that in. Like so. We'll do the same on the other side. Now I always like to take tiny strokes. Gives my me some more control when it comes to drawing. Okay, and then we'll do another rectangle right here. It's along the same line. Okay, and then another circle within, like we did with the previous eye. And then we'll color that one in as well. All right, so you have his two eyes and his mouth. Okay, so now let's draw the shape of his head. We can get that outline. So the top of the circle is going to be the top of his head. So we're going to draw a line kind of goes off the circle here. Okay, and then we'll go back toward the circle. And then it will touch about here, where this line touches the circle is where you'll touch the circle with this one. And then you'll veer off from it again. Okay, and this is where we're going to curve inward toward his chin. Okay. You can stop about where your vertical line ends, because then we're going to draw a little divot right here. Kind of curves inward here, and then we'll follow the circle for this line. Okay, we'll stop about right underneath your top line here, and then do another divot. And that's kind of where the top of his ear ends and starts. So that's why we're drawing those. Okay, now we're going to curve. This is the side of his cheek. And do this big curve inward toward his chin. Okay. Now let's get his ear in here. So his ear is going to be a triangle shape, but the point's not going to be equal. It's going to be a little bit more toward the top of his ear is where that point's going to be. Okay, so that's where it stops, and then we'll go down. And then the bottom of your previous line here, with the divot, you'll draw up and kind of follow that line of the top of his ear, and then we'll curve back down. This will actually not have a point. We'll curve it inward, and then it will meet the top of your divot here. Okay, so just to get rid of that little tip there, we'll erase that spot. So you can see it's rounded. Now for his second ear, we're going to start it about here. So you have your vertical line is roughly where it's going to start, and we'll just travel up like so. And then the bottom of his ear is going to stop around the top line that you drew earlier here. And then we'll connect it. This will be a curved line up, and just connect to the tip of his ear here. Okay, now the inside of his ear is going to be following those lines, and then curve back down toward his head. All right. If you do need to pause the video as we go along, feel free to do so if you need more time. So his collar, his neck is going to be roughly this wide. So I always like to draw little lines to see exactly how big I want it. So there'll be two curved lines curving down, like so. And then there will be a rounded curve that connects those two lines. Okay, then we'll do the top. Now, if you want to stop about halfway here, we can go ahead and add a chain since he's going to have a tag that says SOX right here. So the chain, it's going to be a little loop right here. Do a little curve up here, curve downward, another curve downward, and then draw a little circle on the bottom right here. Okay, then we'll complete his collar. Now for his tag, is going to be another circle. You can make it big or you can make it small, really up to you. I'm gonna make it about this size. All right, so let's get his legs in here now. I'm going to start with some ovals. Kind of get an idea of where his legs are going to be. Another one right here. This side is going to be a bit behind his body though, so this is more just an outline of where his shoulder is going to start. Okay. And just for good measure, we're going to draw a curved line that kind of continues from this facial line here, but we're going to go the opposite direction this way. If you want to think about it like a spine, kind of gives you an idea of where his body's curving toward. Okay, so his shoulder, we're just going to trace around that oval slightly here and curve down. Same on that side. Stop about there and then follow the oval down. Okay, and his chest, this is what I mentioned, that his leg is going to hide behind his body a little bit. This is what I mean. So we're not going to curve this way with the oval, we're going to go through it. This is going to be where his chest is sticking out a little bit. But we'll stop this line toward the bottom of this oval. Okay, so to kind of show where his rib cage is, I'm going to do a slight little triangular type shape here, little corner. And then we're going to do the same on this side as well, but we're first going to draw his legs. So we're going to start off with a curve here that travels downward and ends about here. And then we'll have, this is where that little corner is, little corner that sticks out there. And then a line from that corner inward. Okay. And then we're going to travel down. And his feet are going to stop roughly around the bottom of your spinal line, I'll call it. So we can draw his little feet right here. And his other one will be right here, relatively close together. You can always move them. And then his back feet will be around there. So you'll have four circles roughly next to each other right here. Okay, so his leg is going to continue down. bump right here to show that he has an elbow. You can leave that out if you want to, but I just really like to add details. So you can just go straight down if you want toward that circle here. Okay, I'm going to go around his foot. Up. Now the top of his foot, don't connect the circle, you just want a little bit of a wrinkle right here to show that he has the top of his foot. And then another line right underneath, like so. And then 2 lines for his toes. All right. And now we're gonna complete his other leg. Just gonna go straight down toward the other circle. And this little curve, this corner here, we're not going to start off at the corner of it. We're going to go a little bit inward, but then travel down. Okay, and then we'll go toward that circle, curve around. Go around your circle here, and then do the same thing on this side with his foot, the top of his foot, and another line right down here, and his toes. Now he has a tummy line that goes down, right about there, and stops right before his foot. And then there's going to be a line that connects the two. That shows that he has a bottom. And his other leg, his rear leg, we're going to start off around the top of this corner right here. It's going to come out a little bit and then curve back down toward the circle. It's going to be kind of rounded. All right. And draw around his circle here for his foot. One line here and one line here. This one is a little further to the right, showing that his foot is a little sideways instead. So now his back is going to be starting a little further down his shoulder here. It'll just be one diagonal line like that. We'll stop it about there. And then his rear leg, we'll do another big circle here just to kind of give an example of where his rear leg is. And then we'll do an oval, because that's where his tail is going to be. All right, so to follow this line, we're going to follow the circle, just trace around it. We'll stop about there. And there's going to be a line that's kind of like a backwards S. A stretched out S here. Okay. And now the top of this little circle is going to signify exactly where there's color change, because his color goes from orange to white. His feet are white. And then we will do a line like so, and then follow the circle for the bottom of his foot. Again, if it looks very sketchy, then you're doing something right, because this is just a sketch. So don't feel bad if you see all these lines on your paper and it's not perfect right away. That's how it all starts. We'll travel back up. From that curve, you'll just travel back up and connect to your circle here. And then draw 2 lines for his toes. All right, and now his tail, if you see this line right here, you can kind of continue it if you want to, just lightly through his leg here. And that's where your line is going to start for his tail. And then we're going to connect to the oval, the side of the oval here, then curve around with that oval. All right, and just keep going. And stop almost when you reach his leg here, and then curve backwards, back toward the inside of his tail, and stop. So there's going to be a little tail wrinkle right here, showing that his tail is bent. And then 1 line going down, showing that his color is going from orange to white. If there's a little gap there, you can add a line here to show that his tail is connected to his body. And then there you have the basic sketch of SOX. To add some words and his name to the tag, we'll just write SOX in here. And he has a little barcode underneath his name as well, because he's a robot. So we'll do 2, or we'll do a whole bunch of little lines here, all different sizes, showing that it's a barcode. We've all seen one. All right, however you want it to look, you can make them small, big, whatever you want to do. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to outline all of the lines that I do want to be permanent, and then erase everything that I do not want. For those lighter lines, we can get rid of those. All right, so we'll be right back. I'm just going to go ahead and time lapse. Before I do, just make sure to put little lines here for his front feet, because that also shows that he goes from orange to white. And there's 1 line here that goes up, like so. To make my drawings look a bit more cartoony, so I do like to draw darker lines around the character. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but this is just a technique that I like to do. So now that we've finished the outline, we're going to draw some extra details. SOX does have wrinkles underneath his eyes, so we're going to draw 1 small line next to his right eye, like so. And then another one will go right underneath, like that. And the other side, a little bit is hidden behind his mouth here. So we'll just go right from his mouth underneath his eye here, and then just follow the curve of his eye. Okay, There are going to be some lines as well if you want to add some depth to the collar underneath that top line, like so. And last but not least, SOX does have a pair of lines that do go up his forehead, showing that he is a robot. So we will draw a little dotted line right up his forehead, like so. Well, there you have it. Now you have your very own drawing of SOX. Go ahead and give yourself a pat on the back because this was not particularly an easy drawing to do. So awesome job, everyone. And don't forget to sign your work as well because that does indicate this is your drawing. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and feel free to comment below too and let me know if there's anything you'd like to see me draw in any future videos. To get notified as well of those videos, make sure you're subscribed. And thank you for joining me today. I hope to see you all in another video real soon.